Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Writing Cabin with Tara Benner. I'm fantasy author Tara Benner, and this is my cabin. We all need to escape into story from time to time, so come on in, sit down by the fire, pour yourself a nice hot cup of coffee, and let's talk books. Now, before we get started today, I want to take a moment to thank my wonderful patrons. Patrons, your support not only funds the creation of brand new short stories, but it tells me that you enjoy my books so much that you want to support them and me directly. If you, dear listener, would like to join our Patreon family, you can do so over at patreon.com/Tara Benner Labs. I create a brand new short story or part of a novella every single month, and you can gain access to my entire back catalog of Patreon material for just $3 a month. And you can come in and out as you like. I'm just happy to have you for however long you choose to join. In the library, you'll find a ton of Witches of Mountain Shadow short stories, an exclusive alternate epilogue to Warrior Witch from Gabriel's perspective, novellas, all kinds of stuff. Again, that's patreon.com/Tara Benner Labs. This week's featured book is Colony 1, Book 1 in the Elderon Chronicles. Maggie Barnes is at the end of her rope. She's young and broke, living in New York, and her newspaper job has been taken over by robots. When she pisses off a Playboy tech billionaire, she's mysteriously offered a position aboard the first civilian space colony. Maggie thinks it's her lucky break, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For Jonah Wyatt, the Space Force is his last shot at a military career. After years of tracking down members of a deadly cyber-terrorism ring, he was discharged from the Army and stuck working one demeaning job after another. Now this disgraced combat specialist is headed to space. At first glance, Elderon seems to be a futuristic utopia. Bots do the laundry, meat comes from a lab, and the latest technology expands the scope of human capability. But as Maggie digs deeper, she realizes that Elderon is not at all what it seems. When she receives a tip from an unknown source, she'll go undercover and learn a truth that could put her life in jeopardy. Right now, you can grab Colony 1 for just 99 cents wherever books are sold. I will put a link to that down in the show notes. All right, it's time for my little life update that I do each and every week. And this week we had Halloween, which is my favorite holiday. I always say that, but then Christmas is coming up and Thanksgiving, and then I say Christmas is my favorite holiday, but I love Halloween. This was the first year that my son, well, it was the second Halloween, but it was the first year that he wasn't just like a little blob. And, he was walking on two legs, and he went dressed as an Oompa Loompa, which I thought was just like the cutest thing. And we live out in the mountains on 40 acres. Like, there's no trick-or-treating. I mean, around here, you don't just like walk up to somebody's house because like they might pull out a shotgun. And so you certainly don't go up and ring the doorbell because they probably have like vicious dogs that will like attack you. So instead, there's this event that's held in Woodland Park every year at Memorial Park, and they kind of have like trick-or-treating at booths, and the kids can go around and get candy, and it's just kind of like a fun little family event. So we went to that. And I knew we should have practiced like him taking candy and putting it in his little bucket or whatever, because he did not understand. He did not understand what he was supposed to do. And in fact, he was very suspicious of like why people were trying to hand him things and like what these things were and if he was supposed to have them. And I think all the adults in costume also really like freaked him out. There was this guy who was in a costume like on stilts, and there was another guy in one of those like blow up costumes that was a cow, and I think he didn't know what to make of it. He like fell asleep in the car, and we got there, woke him up from his nap, put him in his costume, and he was just shell shocked about like the whole thing. And Ben and I look at each other and we're just like, yeah, we really need to get him out more and socialize him. Like when you have a puppy, you know that you have to socialize the puppy, like take it to the dog park, take it around other dogs so that it is not weird with other dogs as it gets bigger. And you don't really think about that so much with your kid because, when they're little babies, it's like they're not interested even in anybody but you, or they don't really care. They'll just still sleep on anybody that you hand them to. But as they get older, they're interested in the world, but also they kind of have to learn like what's up with it. And so we're trying to take him to the park more and kind of out and about so he gets the opportunity to be around other kids. And we're so rural. It's just, there aren't that many like young kids around here. And he's not really at the age where he can play with kids like outside of his age group just because he's really little. He just learned to walk like, I don't know, 5 months ago. Not 5 months ago. Yeah, about that long ago. 3 months ago. So yeah, anyway, that's the challenge of having a rural mountain child is they're very under-socialized. But yeah, it was a fun Halloween. I did not dress up. Kudos to you if you're a parent with young kids and you managed to get a costume together for yourself as well. I'm just trying to like handle life. But that's all we had going on this week. So I will move on to my writing updates. And this has been kind of a fun week because I just posted the first part of a brand new Witches of Mountain Shadow novella on my Patreon. I think for the next couple months, I'm going to be doing novellas. I have two kind of planned. Well, I have one mostly finished and another one kind of in my mind that I want to do. And these novellas are kind of in the spirit of Blood Ties. If you have read that one, it's my newsletter exclusive for Witches of Mountain Shadow. It's just Wesley and Gabriel, and they're kind of solving a supernatural crime. This one is kind of in that flavor. It's called Too Rich for Her Blood, and it's been a lot of fun to write that and to kind of revisit Mountain Shadow. I differentiate the Pierce Brothers novellas a little bit from the Witches of Mountain Shadow novellas because the Pierce Brothers novellas, there is an actual murder that takes place. It can be a little bit, bloody or gory, a little bit darker maybe, but still fun. There's still humorous banter between the brothers. And Fiona is not in this one, although it takes place, I want to say this one takes place, I can't remember. I wrote it down. It takes place in the middle of the series. I think in the middle of book 6 is when it takes place. So, Wesley knows about Gabriel's secret, unlike in Blood Ties where they're kind of in like a spy versus spy situation where he doesn't know his brother is a hunter. This one is all from Wesley's point of view also, which makes it different from Blood Ties. But that's been a lot of fun to write. The other big thing is I'm going to be launching The Elven Blade on Amazon on Monday. So that will be available for Kindle and in Kindle Unlimited. However, once I publish the book on Amazon, the ebook will no longer be available from the bookshop on my website. So if you would like to get the book for Android, iOS, or Nook, and you don't want to use the Kindle app, be sure and grab it from my website as soon as you can. I'll probably be pulling that down this weekend in accordance with Amazon's exclusivity agreement. And finally, I am ready to talk a little about the secret project that I've been working on. So I'll preface this by saying that I have not started writing Dragon Kingdom 2 yet. I was kind of in a quandary of what I wanted to write next. I really am excited about the Witches of Mountain Shadow spinoff, but I don't like going on to something else when I'm in the middle of a series. But I also wasn't really ready to write another high fantasy novel just yet because they're long books. They're very demanding books in terms of kind of the imagination that's required and the world building. And so I kind of needed a palate cleanser. And also, being the mom of a toddler right now, my attention span is just not what it used to be. And it's really fun for me to write shorter things like novellas. And so I have been working on something kind of on a whim. Like I think I had this idea 4 or 5 days ago and I kind of just executed on it and I'm doing it. So I am going to be publishing a duology called Christmas in Mountain Shadow. And I've been getting into the holiday spirit a little bit. My ukulele group started playing Christmas carols like the first week of October. And so, it's Christmas in my mind. And I sort of just had this idea because I had a Christmas story that I had written for my patrons like a year ago, and I hadn't really done anything else with it. And I thought, I could write another Christmas story and put them together and just launch them. I think I might launch them November 28th, which is like the Monday after Thanksgiving. We'll see. There's not really a great time to launch books after November 1st. Like as it is, I'm launching The Elven Blade the day before Election Day in the US, which is dumb. But I wasn't ready on the 1st. I needed to get some of my review team members like wrangled. Anyway, point being, November, December, they're just really bad months to launch books. But this is a holiday book. And so it really needs to be launched at the latest December 1st. And so you have that to look forward to. But basically, Christmas in Mountain Shadow is 2 unpublished stories. They're really kind of like mini novellas. One of them is called Christmas Day at the Chalet. That one has the entire coven in it. The idea is that they have gone away for a week of vacation starting Christmas Day at Geraldine's mountain house, and kind of a creepy "and then there were none" style mystery ensues. The other one is called You'll Be Dead by Morning. So Yule spelled like Yule with a Y. My husband voted on the titles for these. Voted like it's a dictatorship. But I was kind of like, well, the original title for Christmas Day at the Chalet was Christmas Day at the Chalet. But I was like, ooh, should it be called Christmas with the Krampus? And he was like, no. And then the other one, I was debating between Monsters and Mistletoe or You'll Be Dead by Morning, mostly because I couldn't think of any other like Christmas puns. And he said that You'll Be Dead by Morning was a better title. So if you disagree, or if you have any better Christmas themed murder mystery titles, let me know, because if you get it to me, before middle of November, I could always change it. But anyway, as I said, one of these is a brand new short story. It takes place actually in Mountain Shadow. It's very festive and Christmassy and fun. There's a new character who's kind of this antagonist hunter. Technically, the stories take place after Warrior Witch, but I have edited them in a way that you should be able to pick them up even if you're not all the way through the series. Yes, there are some spoilers as far as like what the main romantic relationship is in the series, but if you've made it that far, nothing is going to really be spoiled for you. One of the stories, I was editing it and I realized that it alluded to events in another story that was for my patrons that I hadn't published yet. So I really kind of had to downplay that part with the idea that I may publish that novella in the future, but I don't know if I will or not. But all of your favorite characters are going to be making a reappearance in the Christmas stories, at least one of them. Fiona, Gabriel, Eleanor, Morgan, Bellamy, even Mare Sutherland and Martha Mayberry. I have decided that Mare Sutherland is my favorite side character. She's not even really a side character. Like, she really just makes cameos here and there, and she's kind of alluded to throughout the series a little bit. But she's kind of this very ambitious small town mayor who is coming up with all these events and festivals to try to bring business to the town, but she kind of goes a little over the top. And she's also in the Pierce Brothers novella that I'm working on for my patrons. I just want her to be a reoccurring character because she's a lot of fun for me to work with. So that's what I've been working on. I think eventually I will record those stories for YouTube as well, but I don't have any current plans for when I'm going to do that. I had thought that I might take the podcast on hiatus between Thanksgiving and Christmas and come back in the new year. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. We'll see how I'm feeling with holiday stuff and things that I'm writing, if I need a break. But I will definitely be back. If a podcast just drops off 1 week sometime in November, December, just know that I'll be back in January. That is it for my writing updates. It's time for what am I reading this week? And this week I am reading Alpha Possessed by Olivia T. Turner. I just discovered this whole genre of short paranormal romances, and they're really fun. They're 2-hour reads or something like that on Amazon. And it's kind of nice as a mom to be able to get through a whole complete story in a day, just kind of in my little snippets that I have throughout the day. Those have been fun for me. I've been getting through a lot of those. What am I listening to? I am currently listening to Murder in Christmas River by Meg Muldoon. And I really should start saying who the narrators are for these books. The narrator for this one sounds a lot to me like Randye Kaye, who did the Mercy Thompson series. I'll have to look that up to verify it, but it definitely sounds like her, and I love her. So the narration is very good. Murder in Christmas River, it's a whole series, kind of cozy murder mysteries. And honestly, I'm pretty far in and I have not found the dead body yet. So I'm wondering when that's going to happen, but it's just kind of a light, fun, Christmassy type story that kind of is helping put me in the mood for the Christmas mystery that I'm writing right now. So anyway, that's about it for me this week. But before we go, let's check the mailbox. And I just wanted to share a message I received from Athena this week. Athena is actually a member of my ARC team for the Elven Blade. And she writes, "Just finished. So good. Couldn't stop reading. And tomorrow I will be exhausted, but definitely worth it." Thank you, Athena. That made me feel really good. And thank you for being part of my review crew. If you, dear listener, have any questions or comments that you'd like for me to read on the show, you can send them to tarabenner@gmail.com, or you can post them on any of my social media channels. I am at author Tarah Benner on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can also join our secret reader group, Tarah Benner's Reader Revolution. If you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to like and subscribe. I am literally 4 people away from 1,000 subscribers. I'm really hoping I cross the threshold here in the next couple days. Anyway, that's all I have for you this week. Feel free to stay in my cabin for as long as you like. We can drink all the coffee. You can crack open a good book, hopefully one of mine, and have a wonderful weekend.